Alrighty, we are live. It's Tuesday night. You guys know what that means. We're here to have some fun. Now, tonight, it's like every other single night out there, guys. It's Tuesday night. I am Chris, aka TCTBNL. This is Steve. Wow, first time I pointed the right way, aka the Mayor, or aka Snake. I still love how you named yourself that.
There you go.
And you know what we do on Tuesday nights, guys, right? We get together, we talk, we drink some Mountain Dew, we eat some beef jerky. Wait.
Whoa.
Wrong show, right? Like one day off? Something's missing here.
Well, I don't know if you kidnapped me or what, but I'm kind of I'm in a remote location here. I don't know. It's kind of weird. You look different too. I don't know.
I know,
whatever.
right? Oh, hold on.
All right. There you go.
But guys, we've got the mayor on tonight.
And I have
been exactly. I have been wanting him on for a while. And Joe, I see you here. Brian, welcome to the show. Joshua Riggs claims first. Billy, nice to see you out there. Andrew, Carlisle Barretts, how you doing, brother?
Tyson, hello. Bath bomb.
Yeah, right. Bath bombs. Oh man, guys, tonight's kind of special because if what the mayor told me is correct, today is his 1 year anniversary of sporting a man mane.
I think that is right. Within a day or two, yeah. But in the beginning, I don't know when that you say I am a guy with a beard. I think it's when someone else finally says that guy with a beard that you really have a beard. But I've been trying for a year.
Well, trying my butt. You've got incredible growth and incredible coverage.
Oh, thank you.
Maybe we can take that bounty off your trimmers. Me and Steve Beards and Wood took a bounty out on your trimmer.
I learned the hard way, and my brother and I'm here. I'm in Pennsylvania on the farm where my dad grew up, and my whole family we said let's do this. So we just went pretty much straight from our places here, and we're not going out, and there's not a lot to do out here anyways. But my young brother has a beard, and my dad has his first beard ever. It's longer than mine.
Did you give him any tips and tricks? Like Dad, do this.
I do have. I need to talk to him. He's a little fuzzy out here. He's a gray beard, so we'll cross that bridge. I did get him some oils. He likes campfire kind of smells, which
nice. See, this is what I hate. I'm looking right in the camera, and I see over here more gray on one side on me. But when I look in a mirror, it's not all flared out like it is. I'm like, yeah, I got more on one side. But yeah, maybe. Joshua, doesn't he? Seriously.
I'll take. Yeah, I don't know. This is my area of self kind of thinness that I worry about.
Yeah.
How everybody has kind of their own spots that they can notice all the time. For some reason, this one. So when I started leaving the cheeks alone, leaving the cheek line, not trying to cut that in myself, it did better.
Hey, man, Review, how you doing, brother?
Hello.
And yeah, I had I don't want to call it a dead patch, but I had a white zone that wasn't growing for a while. And man, I had to make some massive changes and just get it growing back. It was really weird having a full beard and a dead patch sitting right in the middle of your face,
You like we always say, it's a bigger deal to you than anybody else. But yeah, it's hard not to,
Exactly.
You don't want to go through life kind of like this. And
I know, right? Okay, so let's pretend for one moment nobody out there on YouTube knows who you are.
Okay.
Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself to everyone?
All right, everybody. Welcome to TCTBNL. Tonight, I am Steve, but a lot of my friends call me the mayor. And the reason they call me the mayor is for nothing to do with beards. I have been growing a beard for about a year. Within a day or two, we decided. Last summer, my friend Dan, who has a YouTube channel, he decided, we talked and he thought, let's have my buddy come on and talk about what is it like to grow a beard for a year. And I thought I'd give it the summer. I thought that I would, just give it a shot and probably shave before I got to the final school, back to school. And I kept it. and I kind of talked about how the first time going back to school, that weird feeling of why'd you grow a beard,
Right.
and all those questions. I was nervous about that. I kind of trimmed it back at that point just for my own reasons, whatever. But it's funny. We were so I did the school year. I did it over the summer because as a middle school teacher, you don't make any big changes with your appearance during the year because the day you come back and you look different than you did, the kids are all over you and you get nothing done.
Hey Matt, how you doing, baby bro? Sorry,
oh no, you're good. I grew it for the for the school year. We came out in March, and I think just with being home with the lockdown or quarantine, I just let it grow. It just kind of got thick. I wasn't fussing with it so much as far as length, and I'm really kind of happy. I don't have a greatest light here in the shed or in the barn, but I
the
feel
Johnny
like
Groom's Kill House.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh man. Okay, so we're gonna get to some fun stuff here in a moment, but I do have to say this. I've been wanting to say this to you for a while.
All right.
It was weird seeing you like on those first things with Dan, because you're all, well, yeah, okay, sure. And now it's like I've just watched you like utterly blossom into, well, look at you, man. You're like, I know this, I know this, I know this. It's like, wow.
Mm-hmm. I kind of do. I do check those first couple of weeks out. I just wasn't. I had never done anything on YouTube, no live streaming, and I kind of approached. I don't know why, for good or for bad. I approached it like I would have been a teacher. So I was like, I felt like I needed to know what to say, and a lot of it was talking beards to a dude who's 40 and has never had a facial hair.
Yeah,
I was very out of my element in that regard too.
I mean, this is not being offensive in any way. You could tell because you literally looked lost.
Oh, I know.
But to me, when Dan's little girl was born and you took over that Facebook Live, it was just like, you went from being, oh shucks, oh phooey, to, guys, I'm here. You ain't gonna believe what's going on. Wow, community, look at this. I was like, that's the mayor. All right,
Well, I think that anytime, with Dan and I doing it at the same time and working together on it, I think that I'm one of my characters. I like to take in things and observe. I don't want to overstep or, he's who they want to hear more. They're watching a beard channel. Do they want to talk to the guy, with only a couple of weeks worth of a beard, or Dan who's looking,
with that great wizardly beard of his,
So that was part of it, and part of it is just I did plays and stuff when I was in school, and I'll never forget, like my sophomore year of school, I was on stage and I started thinking about, what, people watching you, they're not like expecting you to fail. They don't really care that much because you don't care that you don't get that worried for people when you're in a show. Right. So I kind of like flip that into this, and I'm like, just be yourself and do your thing. And I would say that's a really good that you watched that Facebook Live.
Yeah.
That was kind of like, I just didn't think that, Violet would come that night. I just didn't think it would work out. So it was kind of like, I didn't have time to psych myself up or worry about it. It wasn't great, but you definitely, as you know, have to bring this energy. You have to bring in energy to drive the ship. And when I got to do that myself, I think it helped. I think it really made a difference.
Yeah, I mean, I can totally identify with that because like the first live feed I ever did when I started to do my shows, when Mo gave up Shark Talk and he took a break, I went, okay, there's that gap. I'm going to start doing live feeds. I'm like, my first one's going to be on a Tuesday, and I didn't even realize it was Christmas Eve. So I'm like, no one's going to watch this. No one's doing anything, and I'm like, hi, yeah, like, I'm doing lives now, and, we're going to try to do this. And like, I watched that first one, but it's like, you gain so much confidence when you get behind like a live feed more. Hey, Gary, how you doing? And hey, Gary, this one's for you. I stand with Chesapeake.
There's Dan the man too.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
I knew he'd pop in here sooner or later. Teach, it's awesome to have you in here, brother. But yeah, it's like when people film their first YouTube reviews. My first one was horrible because I'm ex-military, and I tried doing it as like a briefing style. Here's the book. It's this many pages. It's this. It's that. And my channel wasn't growing until people saw like I've got that. They called it the radio voice, where it's like I just really get into it and like, hey, I'll give you a reading later. You know.
Hey, first of all, thank you for your service with the military. Now more than ever, we realize just with how important you guys are for us. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I tell everyone it's the best worst job I ever had.
Right.
You know,
those are the ones who grow in.
Oh God, yeah. I joined when I was 17, so most of my really formative years were spent amongst really, really great people who helped shape me all the way down the road. And it's one of those things I'm really proud of. One of my former sergeants, we still talk every day.
Yeah.
So it's you know you can develop those and yeah.
Well, that's why people sometimes remember pieces of middle school. As a middle school teacher, I'm partial, but they remember the people in middle school more than even in high school sometimes, because that's when I feel like my 8th graders, when they walk out of school, they are more the people the adults are going to be someday than they are not. So they're they're already headed in a direction, and so those formative years, it's the relationships and the people we have by us that kind of like, we remember the most about that, and I would say formative also would be in the military when you're finding direction.
And Andrew, you can talk about tomorrow night on somebody else's channel. Granted, I confused everyone about talking about, beef jerky and Mountain Dew, but still, that's for tomorrow for Dan's channel. And Joshua, honestly, I've been growing facial hair since I got out of the service in '95. It was primarily a goatee, but the last couple of years, I just said heck with it and just let everything grow out. My better half has been, well, we'll just say supportive of it. I shaved it completely once for her when she asked me to, and yeah. All right, Dan, I'm on that right now, sir. Guys, let me know if that's better, if there's any feedback or whatever. Mayor, go ahead and talk. I guess Dan was getting a little feedback when you talked.
Who's getting it on me? Is this any better here?
Dan, is that any better? No. And DJ Tweets in the house. What's up, Steve? All right, Mr. Mayor, I know you've been talking about being a teacher, so here's the primary huge question. What led you down that career path to become one?
I started school as I'm going to try and talk softer and less bouncy. I think it's got to be my fault.
It's all good. Don't worry.
I started college to be in business just because I wanted to be rich, I think, like everybody. And, business seems like the best way to make money is to sell things or whatever. And after a year, I was just not really feeling it. I was not, it was just not me. So I like a lot of people, had a few teachers I really admired. And as I looked and I'm towards the end of my freshman year of college, it wasn't too late. I looked into teaching. I thought, that's going to, well, at least back then, it's going to provide kind of a life that a lifestyle, you're not going to be rich, but maybe you won't have to hurt for things and find that balance to be with kids and all that stuff. So I went into teaching, and I kind of just happened upon middle school, but, it's like a great fit for me. And I miss the kids a lot right now. I'll bet. It's like 90% of the job.
So how long have you been doing it?
20 years.
Wow.
Yes, I was the bright-eyed, fresh 22-year-old teacher. My teaching 8th grade, 14-year-old, 15-year-old, a few students. 7 years difference is not enough, but just as far as staying out of trouble, like I remember like keeping my hand, the last day of our school, we do a beach trip, and I would just like pull my arms behind my back. So it was obvious I wasn't very, clingy with the kids, the 8th grade girls and all that. But yeah, I think I was pretty young to start, but I started at 22.
I don't know if you guys can hear it in the background, but yet again, the lawn crew is here late, and they're out there with a leaf blower. Oh boy.
Never fail.
That's for you, Mr. Mayor.
Yeah. I started when I was 7.
Right.
Doogie Howser of teaching.
Okay, and here we go. We'll go with that one. Got a question for you, Mr. Mayor.
All right. How's the vacation going? Well, yesterday was a drive, and it was really interesting. We hesitated, with the pandemic and everything. We were gonna do Hershey Park this time. We just came right to my parents own this home here in Pennsylvania, and it's just our family here, and then we go back home. But we have just kind of always gone here in the summers. It was where my dad grew up, and I know that I can drive the route from our house to here without looking at a street map because it's just what we did every year. But vacation's going good here. We kind of settled in today. It is basically an old field that they used to farm, where the family put a house on one of the old fields. They still, lease out the other one because you have to be so darn big now to be a successful farmer.
Yeah.
And so they leased that out, and we're next to that, and a great, beautiful view. As my dad says, it's the flat spot because there's not a lot. We're right in the hills here, so there's not a lot of flat area. So it's going good.
Nice. All right, so this is kind of weird talking to a teacher, but still, I guess one of the questions I'm going to ask is, do you have a serious success story you had with a student that you've always remembered that maybe shaped the rest of your career?
I would say that I think that there's a lot of, I like to think there's a lot of success stories things that are going to come full circle, eventually down the road, when you see your kids. But one of the coolest, most meaningful things I think I've done as a teacher was we started a mentoring group called the Men of East, where our school's East. And these were for kids, that didn't have a strong male role model in their house.
Okay, cool.
We started this group, and lo and behold, we're just going to pull in some kids, and we're starting to look around for a couple kids. And I had one of my students in my class whose mom was a teacher in the district, whose father was a corrections officer, and whatever was going on in his life, he took his own life like that, within a couple weeks of that. So we pulled him right in to the group, and we just took him to Pistons games. And I remember thinking about driving in the car, and the secret is you grow up as a parent and as a teacher all the time. You're learning lessons.
Right.
I was just thinking about how I got this kid next to me whose dad he's never known. And then I got my other student who's back here and just lost his father, and he suffered some things that I've never gone through. And I said, that was kind of a moment where I'm like, this is why we do it. This is good. Give them, sometimes you just keep moving for these kids. So that was special to me. And, I'll never forget that. And I take that lesson every day as a dad too.
Oh God. Yeah.
No, not yet. No, about that. Dan has plenty of diapers to change at his house. He doesn't need any more.
Yeah, right. And I was gonna say, you need a moment because I saw you tearing up on that one. That's not being disrespectful. I mean, I know it's a good memory for you.
Oh no, I'm probably just sweating. There's no air in here, man. But I did bring my water, so I'm good.
Oh, it's Pennsylvania in the summer, so the humidity and whatnot, right?
Yep, that's it. We're all good.
Yep. Now, guys, here's a little offshoot. I got a mail call today from a very good friend of mine. You know how everyone says you should wear a warning label somewhere? Tell people about you? Mm-hmm. Well, being, a vet and whatnot, we wear a lot of, hats with a patch panel.
Okay.
Guys, I got this in the mail today.
I should get one from my classroom window and see how long I keep my job.
You should be tenured by now, though, right?
Oh, there's no such thing anymore, really.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Sure, kind of. I'm still a pension teacher, which is good, but they got rid of that and, a lot of things. As far as, you're just reviewed.
Nice. What up, Be Nice?
Welcome.
All right, guys. Now, seeing how we got beard stuff tonight, let's just use the typical question. What does everybody have in beard? And, I'll kick it off.
All right.
Seeing how I'm getting ready to do what I'm calling the Fruit Loops face-off. I started today with some anointed AK Fruit Loops.
Ooh, I saw you talking about that.
Yep. And for the first time, I tried their Beard Rescue, which is like their beard butter, and the Fruit Loops scent.
Nice. Very
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah, Joshua, I know. That is an awesome patch.
All right,
So,
Dan's got the Royal Beardsman Leisure. Damien Keep Billy's got. All right.
what you got, Mr. Mayor?
I'm actually doing my tried and true. This is Beard Octane Citrafella. It was in my. I have to be honest. I didn't really pack too beard well, so I had whatever was in my little doc kit, whatever you call it.
Yeah, doc kit. Yeah.
So I was in that, and I had my Citrafella, and I'm rocking it, and it's doing well. With this, it is very humid. With that, I've had to do a few reapplies as well.
Yeah, it's Pennsylvania in summertime. That humidity is going to get you. So Gary's got a question for you, Mr. Mayor.
Yeah, how does it feel being a part of the movement Dan has started? Yes, I call it a movement. Men being men. I don't think I would be like overinflating it to say that it is probably fueling my like it's super awesome. It is. I count on it. I look at his group. I check the Facebook group. It is the balance that I needed in my life. I'm a dad and I'm a teacher, but I needed some things to do for me too. And it's probably, it's just exciting. I love it. It has brought excitement into my adult life. How's that?
Well, I got to say, at least if I understand this right, it may be like the Commands Corner group, but as far as I know, you're the boss. You're basically running the day-to-day operations of the Facebook thing.
That just to some extent, sure. Dan is, and I've learned from Dan, honestly, the guy's younger than me, but I've learned from him about just kind of being open and honest about things. Yeah. For our Facebook group, I do topics and things like that, and do that. But there's, with Dan and I already a year into kind of doing like live streams together and just kind of working together. And then as a teacher too, more and more I'm able to kind of just handle things without reaching out to him. But there's certain things that I always will too, because again, it's his name on it.
Yeah. And I mean, I totally respect that. And I love the fact that you two have this good give and take back and forth kind of thing. And I bet as teachers, you guys kind of fall into a rhythm when you're doing stuff. And it's just like, you just keep going and going and going.
Oh, he's a good teacher. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but
you're fine. You're fine. Keep going, please.
He's like top notch stuff. Like that's part of the reason I wanted to work with him in any capacity was just his teaching and his coaching. He coached my kids in swim, and he was the kid. He is one of the people that has that rare ability to be likable. The kids like them, I like them, but then succeed at a really high level at the same time.
Yeah, and hey Pete, how you doing, man? Welcome to the show. And Billy, that El Mariachi, if I remember correctly, it was a Fable Armory scent of the month. So if you didn't buy that box, you're not getting it. And so seeing how you said you had seen about it, like I was talking about like the Fruit Loops challenge, the Fruit Loops face-off. All right, I will freely admit, Barker's Beards, their Fruit Loops thing, got me hooked on that smell in my beard. So when I started finding other companies, I want to figure out the best one.
Okay.
Which one smells more like it? Which one's got this? Which one's got that? And I basically found 4 companies. There's a 5th. I don't know if it will ever arrive because it's a Canadian company. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to run with a 4 basically oil face-off.
So is it just a fruity? You're looking for a fruity scent, or does it need to be fruity?
Fruit Loops.
Fruit, straight up. There's 5 different companies that make Fruit Loops scented. Is that true?
Ferocious Beards. It's called Fruity Loops. Barker's Beards. Anointed AK. Now, granted, this one was a bit of a stretch. All right. Ruddy Man for their Ruddy Reveal. They had Serial Killer. So I had to buy the complete set of last year's Ruddy Reveal to get that because I really love what Jimmy does over there. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, all right, here's a wild card. Anointed AK. Universal Beards is the 5th one. It's a Canadian company. And I love how they're like, oh, your order's complete, but I've never got a tracking number. So I'm like, okay, well, if you arrive, I'll throw you in. But if you don't,
Right.
So it's weird judging by feeling beard, smelling bottle, smelling beard, just over cereal.
Would you say
Mike,
is scent the most important thing to you in a beard oil? Is it or is it feel?
Honestly, it's feel, because I've had some that, like, when I put it in beard, I'm like, it's got to get out now. I've literally taken another shower just to get that out of my beard. The scent may feel good, but when you're putting it in and your beard goes dry instantly, bye-bye, gotta go.
And I feel like I'm just getting to any thickness level where the feel was good. Like I always knew when I put too much of something in, like too much butter or whatever. But as far as feel for the oil, I would think I'm just getting to that length where it makes a difference as much. I think a shorter beard style, as long as you vary, like a thick oil, you use a little bit less. You're okay. But yeah, when you've got longer hair and it's coming down and all that, feels a huge part of it.
Oh yeah, I mean seriously. And I would have done like butters, but not a lot of companies have them. So I'm like, okay, I'm just going to stick with oil. But now back to you, sir.
Okay.
I usually like to ask this of everybody when they come on the channel for the very first time. I've asked Dan, I've asked everybody, and I bet Dan's smiling because he knows what I'm about to say. I honestly believe inside a person, there's this huge thing between someone who's going to get up and do what they got to do and someone who's going to quit. Now, I know that you've had days where you've been beat down, dragging butt tired, you don't want to get out of bed. What is that thing inside you that makes you get up and go?
Well, it started out with my wife, and it has moved on to my two boys, because I believe that my biggest
sorry, sir.
I believe my biggest job is not teacher or even husband. It's Christian, but also I look at raising my boys. And if I want them to have a happy life, I know they need to get up out of bed, even if they don't feel like it, if it's cold, if it's too hot, if you didn't sleep well, you got to get after the day, because I want them to have that joy and be happy. And I know it comes from getting up and getting moving.
Yep. You got to get up. You got to keep moving forward. And especially, like you said, you got to set the example as a dad.
Yeah. Because the truth is, and I'm not always great at it, the number one teacher is always your example. You teach by example, and you show them how to do it, or you show them how not to.
Yep. Lead from the front. And that's one of the things that, the military was a huge thing for me for that. And it's like, I've taught this to my son. I will never ask you to do anything that I won't do next to you or have already done. I've got to set the example, period. It's, here you go, and I want him to go out and be better than I am.
Yeah. Yeah. And you want to you set that table in life, you set it so that they can eat and enjoy. And it's not easy. It's being a parent. You just when you think you got things cooking, like tonight, my wife's doing a favor. She's mopping the floor, and our oldest son tears around the corner, slips out and smashes his head on the ground and puts his lip through his tongue, and he does all that stuff. And he is doing, he's fine, but like never a dull moment. Never.
Bam, welcome to the show, Santa. Welcome. And just so I can say this for you, Bam, too, I stand with Santa. Period. Okay, so let's get back to some other fun here.
All right.
All right. God, how can I put this?
What are you going for?
No, so I asked you about a great success. Have you had any real regrets when you're teaching? Like you should have done something a little different? Like I failed to reach the student, even though I think I could. If you don't want to answer it, that's good. That's okay.
Sure. One of the reasons I think that I've ended up growing and doing all, better and better with this, and I think that I work with Dan well, and I work with kids well, is I just try to be in touch, in tune with where people are and where they're feeling. So I do try to, there's a two-part answer. So I try to never let kids leave my classroom. If I feel like I went too far, if I made a little comment, and I get I literally get like a vibe of it. And I feel like I pushed it too far, I try to not let them leave the room without like saying something or reaching out to them, because they are, you just know. And some kids, usually I have nothing to lose. Like I will just say I was too far. Sometimes I do that. So I try to keep it a safe place in my classroom.
Okay.
And then, with that, I think I regret being kind of the young, cool teacher for a little bit too long. Like, you know what I mean? Like there's different phases in your teaching. You can come in and you can relate to the kids, and then you have your own and you start relating to the parents.
Sorry.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I feel like it took me a while to relate to the parents, and as I look back, I wish I would have learned how to teach by holding a hard line. If somebody does something wrong, you kind of holding them accountable so they won't do it again. You're not letting it off because you don't want to be upset in the moment, but trying to go long term.
See, that's one of the things, like with my kids, I love them to death, but there's sometimes I'm using this old military term with them. It's like, it's above your pay grade. You don't need to know. Or if I'm a little bit too hard, I've always got to pull them aside and be like, look, all right, this may have gotten here, this may have gotten there, but you know I love you, right? Or
Right.
When my kids are at that point where you're just like, is that assault charge worth it? You're like, remember, daddy loves you no matter what.
Oh, I have to be. I'm grateful for my wife, and she's a school counselor, and but that doesn't mean that doesn't mean she doesn't lose her. Quite frequently, you just being a good parent, you got to lose your here
Every
and
so
there.
often. Yes.
Kids have to know that level is there if they want to open up and they want to walk in that door. Here I am.
My kids call it the dad voice, the dad scary voice. Mm-hmm. They know when that voice hits, yeah, it's time to move,
Usually my dog knows it before the kids do. Like the dog knows that, Max is in tune with that dad voice. He's like, come on, guys. He can't even see he's getting upset. But they don't get it.
The dog's walking around the house. Someone's getting an ass whooping,
Running.
Oh my God, I love it. All right, so I know we've been talking a lot about teaching, but I know we talked a little bit in the pre-show about like COVID and your stuff. Mm-hmm. So how has that really affected you as a teacher? Do you do remote teaching? Is it really throwing you off your game this year?
Totally. It is a complete and utter different job. Well, it's a very different job because as a science teacher, I in 8th grade, I believe science is very important, but I still, if I'm going to triage and look at like, what do the kids have to have? I'm going to go math and probably reading, writing. So I can, we kind of step back a little bit and let, you don't want to expect the art class to have as much time as the science class, or, at home, right. If you have a bunch of time, like you have a amount of time. So I step back a little bit. And so it was a lot of just reading, kind of like probably what you and I did in school, reading textbooks, bold words, go back and find the answer in the text, video clips and things like that. I just, with 140 kids running a Zoom, anything would just be like them hanging out and me wondering why I put myself on camera trying to do it. So my job is completely different. Throw in my two sons who are in 2nd grade and 5th grade the year we just finished.
Yeah.
And our house was crazy. It was crazy.
Yeah. Like I told you, my house turned into just wow. It's like from this point to this point, it's all school. Don't even look at the TV. Don't look at this. Don't look at that. You can't do this. Just focus on your school.
My wife Betsy had started. She had, bless her heart, she had the greatest schedule worked out. And it was, when we were thinking maybe it'd be 2 weeks or whatever. Right. And we kind of held to that. But Fortnite has never had its best time. I mean, Fortnite was at our house just on me alone. Fortnite, Epic Games is running. They're probably putting on the Wamba wing, which is my last name. With the money in V-Bucks that we just evaporated because my 8-year-old, it's kind of a good lesson, but he cannot he just has to have it. If he has the V-Bucks in his account, he's going to grab them.
Hey, look, I'm the same way as an adult, okay? As you know, I've got like a knife addiction. So when I see something pretty and sharp, I'm like,
oh, yeah.
Gimme, 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 gimme. You know?
Yeah, I've heard you talk about just packages coming in the mail and trying to get them in before anybody's looking. I get it.
And hey, Pete, if you want to buy something really cool over on Chesapeake, Chris 10. Chris 10 gets you 10% off. My channel. Dan, I can say my code, my channel. And yes, I love giving the teach crap at times. So
he does well. You know, he can dish it. You know,
I've got a good back and forth with him. It's kind of interesting at times.
Oh,
yes, some of those packages. Oh,
and why do they all have to come on the same day and be stacked? Art like a, you know, when the person you don't want to know that you ordered all that stuff is coming to the door. It's that day.
Oh my God! Thank you.
You're in the car with them, and they see it. Like from my house, they see it on the porch, and it's like, come on, mailman. Oh,
there's only so much a better half's gonna believe. Yeah, I won this in a giveaway.
Yeah, I know the game. I know the game.
You know,
I'm learning.
And it seems like every time I get a higher end item, it's supposed to be here on this day.
Mm-hmm.
No, it shows up early, right as the wife's walking out the door, and I'm like, oh crap.
Yeah,
I'll pay for that one later. You know?
Yeah, I get it. I just, you know, it has to be. I have to keep my mouth shut when her Stitch Fix comes, or she does that, or Zulily, or you know, all that stuff shows up. It's
my better half was doing this little diamond art thing where you got to glue these stupid things like right on this page. I'm like,
oh boy,
why are you spending hundreds of bucks on that? No.
I've never heard that. But I know like there's so many creative things like that are like that especially people are finding right now when they're spending so much time at home.
Yeah. And Ben, see, I run the finances in this house because my better half sees money and just has to go through it. So I control that one. Hey, Kyle and Joe, how you guys doing? Well, I should say Joe. I see the Joe. So welcome, brother.
Yeah, welcome.
And geez, beard looking barbecue. Don't know who you are, DJ Tweets. Dan, really? I did not know that. Dang it. There we go. I did not know that. See,
I know
sorry.
Oh, I was going to say that's in our area. Yeah. Walgreens pickup. I know that we have Rite Aid pickup. They have a locker, and the lockers have names like
nice.
Candace. So, you know, go see Candace at, you know, your pharmacy and open box 14. Yeah, he's right. You should send him to the locker. You're right. It makes sense.
Yeah, see, I'm in really good with my mailman. He's former Marine Corps, and I'm former Army, so we just sit and BS all the time and have a good time. He likes bringing my packages to my apartment because he wants to see what I got.
Mm-hmm.
You know, his Christmas bonus last year was a bunch of knives and some other crap.
Okay.
But he's also, she's there. It's a big box. Should I go to the door? Should I not? You know?
Oh, yeah. I know.
Steve, I don't care, brother. Man, bring them all in here. I don't care. Enjoy it, man. You know I got nothing but love for you, Steve. Nothing but love. Oh, man. There we go. All right. So, weird beard question for you.
Sure.
In your collection that's been growing, have you ever had a scent that you put in from a company that you thought was going to be good, and you're like, trash?
I have never thrown a beard oil away. Yeah, I haven't done it. I've got too many. Like if our church ever starts up, I got too many bearded guys that I can definitely just kind of say try it out or don't, whatever. Yeah, I would say yes, that has definitely happened. I'm not gonna say where or with what, but there have been a few that have just been like the anti-mayor.
And for me, I'll be honest, Bam, are you still in here? Every scent from Jolly Old Fat Man. Ha! Gotcha, Bam. No, I've had a couple that, like, when you're reading the scent profile, you're like, hey, that's interesting. And like when I got it in, there was one from Bearded Oregon. It was supposed to be for like helping promote sleep and nighttime growth in your beard. I didn't know my body's chemical composition cannot have mint in your beard.
Okay.
It literally smelled like dog puke.
Ooh.
I put it in and I'm like, No, no.
Ain't nobody sleeping tonight.
Yeah, I'm just like, no, no, no. It's gotta go. It's gotta go.
Yeah, there's a you with the shorter beard too. Like, it's I think I would say it's pretty thick for how short it is for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get it right up under your nose, so you better love it or leave it.
Oh yeah, Oh dear God, yeah.
Like if you got upset, you don't, you try it out, and you with the longer beard, you guys are just kind of putting it down. It gets a little bit lower real estate, but.
Yeah, but what I always do, I mean, seriously, it's like you work it right in the mustache for me, even though it gets all the way down, and sometimes I've like lost scent, but I always make sure it's there. So I'm like, I really want to get, like when I'm doing reviews for how long it's stayed in beard, how long it's this, how long it's that, Do you have like a favorite, like a go-to company?
I would say like, I haven't. Okay, so Beard Octane, started me out. Joe gave me that gift set when I started out.
I remember that. I remember that was way cool.
That was super cool, and so I've always, when Beef Octane started, he slipped some envy in of his new set. Try that. So I think Octane right now is my go-to. From Chesapeake, I the Command and Conquer Cold Wash is my product for just making this feel super super duper soft. So Chesapeake, and I know I've probably I've talked with Gary more than anybody.
Yeah.
So he's a go-to as well. Joe at Beard Octane too has been huge.
See, like for me, I've got 3 companies. Obviously Chesapeake, Johnny Slicks, and of course Ready Man. Those are the ones that I always seem to go back to if I'm not testing anything, or I'm just like, I really don't want to do anything this week. I'm just going to alternate their products. And it's really weird. And Gary, this ain't kissing your butt. He's only had 1 scent that I've bought that I haven't liked.
He does a good job. He does a really good job. All right, Soul Patch. I can talk about that. I don't know if you guys can see it, but it with the humidity here. I don't know. It is chilling out. Finally, it's getting long enough to kind of start curling back down underneath there. That was a tough spot for me. I don't know why I messed with it so much, but I do know my chin shape is weird.
Yeah.
But it was and I was looking at my brother today, and he does the same. He has the same butt chin that I do, or whatever. And he does that, like kind of that cliff.
Yeah.
But I've become a much more a finer beardsman than that these days.
See, I think you just created something tonight that's going to have to be put on Wednesday night. I think you just made the very first Soul Patch cam.
Oh, yeah.
You know how Dan's got the mullet cam? We got to have the mayor's Soul Patch.
Soul Patch check-in. It'd just be a quick check-in. I don't know if it needs its own camera. That's for mullets and above. But the Soul Patch check-in, maybe just to support it a little bit, help it out, because that's my other spot that's kind of like figure it out. But I don't know, the lighting feels good in here, and I feel like it is finally getting better. When you realize it's kind of still sticking out a bit, though. I don't know. We'll take it, but like you rock what you got, like we say.
It always does that. No matter how long it grows, it'll grow up. Yeah, and Ben, yes, I got you 100%, brother. Seriously, I do. Chesapeake is where I have spent most of my cash. And see, that's the thing for me is I always look for veteran companies first.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I really want to go spend cash. And then it's like I'll base my future purchases on the product and customer service.
Yeah, that's really good. It is interesting, the whole customer service aspect. I have to say that with my Dan hookup, I'll be honest, I haven't bought a ton of oil, a ton of products. Like, that's a pretty sweet deal. So, but I will say I do order from the big companies, and I haven't had a bad experience yet. In fact, I would say I have only had things exceed as far as ship time and all that stuff. I've only had them exceed their delivery times and their emails and all that, communication.
Yeah, I mean, I've been lucky. I've tried a lot of stuff that I like, and there's very few that I've tried that have been like, no, you know. A lot of those that are like just get it gone, or like when I very first started, when you're buying from big box stores, and
Yeah.
it's like when you think, oh my god, Cremo is the greatest, then, oh wow, look over here, beard guys or whatever, and I'm like,
Yeah,
what?
this is the whole world that I think people are learning more and more about lately, but it is just crazy. This is like the fine dining of beard care, because people, when you're talking about 5 companies that have a Fruit Loops and are similar to it,
Yeah.
there's this artistry, and I really didn't understand that going in either. It's just that
Oh
people
yeah,
like
yeah.
the scent profiles and how much pride they have in them and all those things was pretty amazing.
Oh yeah, and I mean, like, there's some companies who take their labels to another extreme. Like, I will admit, I love Fable's artwork on their labels. It's just they seem to get better and better with each one. And while I understand why Gary did what he did from moving away from, say, let me move that, from, say, like, as he puts it, cartoony labels into a more, like, big box store looking thing when he goes big.
Mhm.
I get
Yeah, I
it, but
love
there's
those.
sometimes I like this a lot.
Well, there's ways to play at every level. I used to sell instant coffee at craft. Like, remember when people used to get together? I used to sell
Yeah.
instant coffee at craft shows. The beard oil game is above that, but it reminds me like the way that this whole thing works with Instagram and the stores and the reviews and the influence and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
It's similar to that it's like the new version of that.
Nice. And I mean, yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, like about influencers and stuff. I it's really weird, like when I first started doing stuff. Now,
Mhm.
granted, I have a whole bunch of things on my channel, and I've said this to Dan before, so it's not like I'm picking on him or anything. When he first started, I had more subscribers than he did, and he blew up. And I'm like, you're someone I'm chasing, but the level I'm at right now, I've got people telling me, well, you're an influencer and you don't know it. I'm like, I don't see it, you know?
I think, yeah, the whole that thing sneaks up on you. As far as what people, there are people that learn, through through experience. When you're throwing out names and brands and things like that, they try and it works for them. You're an influence. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that just kind of builds. That's a snowball effect. I always think of the little snowball top of the mountain and just builds and builds and builds.
Good
And
analogy.
I know Dan's seeing that now with his channel too. Is just kind of through the grind that he's done and all that. Just all of a sudden, things start pulling in that you didn't even know were out there, and it's very exciting for him. Like, but it doesn't surprise me with his work ethic mixed with his likability and all that stuff.
Well, I mean, like I joke with Dan, I'm like, you may be there now, but I'm catching you. I'm coming for you. I'm like, don't slip because I'll pass you. And here's a good one for you, Mr. Mayor.
No, there is no James Bond bowl. Yeah, this is from the Facebook channel. I did use my blue blockers. Do you remember the commercial for blue blockers?
Yeah.
The big old. I was using those, and that was my James Bond commercial picture on the Facebook group.
Nice. And Gary, FYI, my channel. If I want to talk about Chesapeake, I will. You don't like it? You know what you can do.
Absolutely.
Joshua, I saw them in like Walmart a little while ago, and the biggest reason I bought them is seriously on the box it goes contents may be flammable. Keep away from open flame. I'm like, you want me to put a beard oil in my beard that's going to catch fire and set my face on fire? Are you insane?
Wow. What would even be an ingredient that would cause flame? Maybe one of the oils is more like
I don't know.
oil,
I couldn't figure it out. I was putting as a test. I like set up some tinfoil around the house, and I'm like, all right, a little bit more. I'm walking by with a lighter trying to get it to get on fire, and it never happened. And Moose, thank you, brother. I appreciate that a lot, man. All right, yeah, here's a good one for you. Because you already took a question away from me a while ago on Majorly Bearded.
I do that. I do it.
I was gonna do that. Hey, have you ever thought about doing your own YouTube channel? You already answered that. But here's the other one, and I don't know how to phrase it other than this.
Go for it.
While you're not an influencer, but you are. You're not a reviewer, but you are. Have you ever really felt like really out of place when companies are sending you stuff?
Well, you know, honestly, Dan's kind of kept me under his wing for a lot of that stuff. As far as like, it's his channel. There wouldn't be 100 people, whatever, watching a Majorly Bearded live stream if it wasn't all the work that Dan put in for like 2 weeks leading up to it and everything, or 2 years, doing it. So,
yeah.
We have just, I don't know. I have no real. I just have a lot of admiration for what he's done, and I don't have too much of an interest in being like anything beyond that. People haven't reached out too much to me. Like I think they've just kind of, like Dan always puts, like they're just been respectful of whatever this is. As nice. I work with him, I don't have like two videos a week in me like Dan does, or you know what I mean. But I kind of step in and fill a spot for him. I think it's kind of a mutually beneficial relationship. But I just don't. I know what he does. I don't think I could do that.
Oh no, I mean not going down that road. It's just like I've always had in the back of my mind, like companies are going to be like, well, let's send this to the mayor. Like when you first started your journey, and it's like that's got to be like humbling. It's like me. I'm not him. It's like me.
I think they kind of, I think that a lot of people were like, let's see if the beard stays and what it looks like, and and if they keep doing this whole thing, but ultimately, Dan has like made this in every way kind of just something that it totally is fulfilling for me in every aspect. I don't know if that makes sense, but it's totally.
No, it does. It does.
I don't feel like I'm not getting credit for anything. I just enjoy what I'm doing.
Yeah, and I don't know if you saw Gary's question.
No, I got my eyebrows. It's just my shed light is not, the normal Dan C studio level.
It's the Johnny Grimm's murder basement house. Just
or wasn't there? I think there was an episode of Homeland when she got put in a box and buried in the ground, and I feel like I'm gonna walk out, and it could be that. I don't know. Get out at all.
All right. So seeing how you mentioned that, Dan, I don't know if you're in here. If you want his grid coordinates, you're going to have to respond to my email with the ransom so you can have the mayor back.
Please. Okay? You need me. Whenever you go here, it does feel like that. Like it feels, you get off the turnpike and you still got a 40-minute drive out to the farm. But so it's between exits.
Yeah.
It's like remote. Like grocery stores.
Love you too, sweetheart.
Grocery stores, a half hour there, half hour back.
Yeah, like when we moved up here, I swear to God, like when we got off the interstate, I was like, I hear banjos. I'm like, what is going on?
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be nice.
I guess Dan's not paying your ransom, Mayor, so breathe easy. You're going to run out of oxygen sooner or later.
Yeah, I probably got another couple hours at least. We'll figure something. He knows he's getting. I put an Instagram picture of my studio for tonight and tomorrow. We'll make it work.
Yeah, I saw that, the Farm Strong. I saw that.
Yeah, I like that Farm Strong. I did like that. That was awesome. Of course, we don't. Fortunately for me, it's not a working farm. It used to be a farm. If it was a farm, there'd be stuff that needed to be done. That it would be when we used to come. My dad used to work the whole time of years when I was a kid.
No, I get that. No, you can throw it out. Okay. So, guys, I know I only like to keep people on about an hour. We're coming up on that. If any of you guys got any questions for the mayor, seriously, throw them out there, all right? Because he's been really open and honest about a whole bunch of stuff,
yeah.
Oh, here we go.
Okay.
Do you have a go-to scent profile?
I'm a citrus guy.
Really?
I love, my favorite butter is Detroit Grooming Leland. It's like a melon citrus. I like Citrusella, obviously, like I mentioned. Runner up is going to be, I love vanilla tobaccos.
Nice.
Yeah, and a little cherry maybe in there. I don't know if it reminds me of my grandpa a little bit or my uncles. It would be pipe smokers, but a good vanilla tobacco is something I'll wear all day long. And then Woodsy's probably third place. I don't have anything when you get things like your Fruity Pebbles, if it's like the avant-garde, like way out of the box kind of thing, it's hit and miss. Some things I really like. Something, and sometimes they're just in that situation where it's like, this is not for me.
I agree with that completely. So you got a question: pineapple on pizza?
Pineapple on pizza? Yeah, absolutely. With ham. Not every day, but I'll have it. I will eat that. I would probably, I probably would go to some other things first, but if there was I'm looking at the counter and there's pineapple and ham and there's just cheese, I'd go with the pineapple and ham every day.
Yeah, you get that little kick. And Joshua, I'm just letting it grow right now. I know I've got some weird stuff like down here because like the original hairs, but they'll probably fall out at some point. Just my luck in the shower scrubbing. I'm like, oh, well.
Yeah.
And okay, let's go with the big steak question that's running around. How does the mayor have his steak?
Medium rare.
Nice.
With medium rare with just straight horseradish chopped up. Not
hook 'em. Sorry.
Not the creamy stuff. No, you don't want the mayo in the horseradish. Just not horseradish sauce. Just horseradish.
Nice.
In fact, here in Pennsylvania is where I got hooked on that. We bring home a mason jar of horseradish when we come home.
So you guys are out by Amish country then?
Oh yeah. We're not far. My family is maybe a half a generation, 2 generations. I don't know. Depends on how you trace it, but yeah, there's some definite connections there. Probably more Mennonite than Amish.
Sorry, I'm just like somewhere in the mayor's past, there's someone who went on Rumspringa and is like, I'm not going back,
Oh, what was that? Breaking Amish.
Yeah.
Going crazy. One of my long lost relatives went to spring break and never came back.
Yeah, or the Amish mafia, which always had me laughing. You're Amish, but you're allowed to have a house with electricity, drive cars, own firearms,
Right, but you can put the name on your store and ask more money for a lot of things.
Right? Oh, man. Okay, so. Oh, God. How are you going to feel? This is the only way I can put it. I know we talked about it briefly.
Sure.
What if next year you got to do homeschooling again? Is it going to be kind of a deflating kind of thing? Or is it going to be like, well, maybe we'll get through this? Okay,
we're going to get through it. It's security for my family. That's you get to your bottom line. We're going to do if my teaching were an art, I would be at school the whole time, like traditional stuff, like interacting with kids and getting to know them well. But I'm going to take what I get, none of us are, it's just a hard time, and if I'm working and getting paid for it, then I'm glad.
So do you do Zoom classes with your students or?
I did not hold a Zoom in the spring, but I think I'm definitely going to in the fall because I knew these kids. We had the routine, but to get to know people, I would hope we're at least at a blended kind of format with it because, it's all, middle school is all rapport. It's all about, I don't remember a lot of facts that I learned in middle school, but I remember the teachers that cared, the people I liked, the people I looked up to, and the ones that were the joke, on the other side of that. I remember I was like looking and starting to think, who do I want to be when I grow up and what do I want to be like? So, I feel like if I can have that one-on-one or getting to know the kids in person, that's a big part of this job.
See, I've always wondered that, like, for a teacher, is it like that really, I don't want to say emotional connection, but like that connection you have with your students that really drives you? Or is it just like, I got to show up, I just got to go through the motions and get them out the door,
Well, the first kind is the one that goes 20 plus years, and the second kind is the one that runs out because, it is. I love being funny. I love just like anybody who does anything in front of people. Yeah. I love getting laughed. I love the just random stuff that happens. Like, middle school teacher is not a job where anybody ever gets real comfortable in thinking they've seen it all, because you never seen it all when you meet 150 new people every year.
Right? It's like the next generation comes up with something new, and then the next generation comes up with something new.
And literally, they go home and learn things, and then they try them out at school. And so even that can bring out, craziness.
All right, here's a good one I just thought of. I know a lot of schools, they have like, the senior pranks or the upperclassmen pranks. Anyone ever really played one on you as like their favorite teacher or?
Gee, yeah, they'll take like towards the end of the year that there aren't a lot. Oh, okay, I got one. I can be a little sarcastic with my students, and I had this is actually a teacher's kid in my class, and her daughter came in, I think after school one day, and must probably placed like psychotic amount of Post-it notes on everything in my room. Like it looks like tiles on a shower. The whole, like, probably over 1,000 Post-it notes were like placed in Post-it notes, like just Post-it note now in my room, just sending that Post-it note message. I'll never forget that one. Like it was crazy. I took a picture of I took a picture of it, and then I started taking it down because I would, it looked insane, and I wasn't going to be teaching anything that day if I let it like that.
Nice. If I remember right, isn't one of the last things you do for the school year is take down the flag in your classroom?
Yeah. I never thought of, and that's one of, I never thought of that as a thing until this year. I kind of did put it on Instagram. I said, this is a weird time, rolling up the flag, hanging it down for the summer. It didn't feel like the story had finished. Everybody, this is just where we're at,
Right. I agree.
We're not getting closure on nothing right now.
Oh, I 100% agree with that. And I mean, I'll admit, I kind of smiled with that because, with the veteran thing, it's like, well, when you're closing down the base, one of the last things to come down is the U.S. flag.
Mm-hmm.
It's like there's your ultimate closure right there when you're moving on. And I was like, wow, I never thought of that.
Classroom should be the same thing because the great things that we offer in this country, one of them is our education system. And it is because of our founding fathers, all of our government. Our kids are lucky. We are lucky as parents, as we've learned more than ever about having them out of the house a little bit.
Yes.
We're lucky to have the school systems we do.
And I said this in like the pre-show, but I'll say it right here. I honestly believe you deserve a raise with what I've had to go through this last year teaching my kids. I'm just like, I don't know how you guys do it without having a bottle of alcohol in like your desk drawer. It's like, all right, they're on break. Next class,
Well, first of all, I'm sure there's no teacher that would disagree with wanting a raise in some way, but you also have to know how much of a huge factor it is that it's your kids. It's not.
Yes.
Take
care, Drew. See you on the next show.
We'll see you. So you can't be too hard on yourself. What I'm saying, because I lose it with I'll be a teacher on the computer, and then I walk 3 steps, and I lose my with my own children, and then I'm mad at myself for it. But because it's your kid, you kind of cut through some of the stuff that helps sometimes. Sometimes, being a little shy or not knowing something the teacher helps you to be able to listen and learn better.
See, my kids' teachers think I'm insane. When we meet the new teacher that year, I'm like, look, tell me what bottle you drink, because at the end of the year, I owe you one.
Oh, I've heard that. Yeah.
I'm like, I don't care what it is. Tell me. You've put up with my kids. There you go. Yeah. And Ken, I have as well. There's times where I've just lost it, and I'm like, go away for a moment. They come back, and I'm like, Daddy, sorry.
Yeah. And that's just the way it goes. It's messy. It's messy right now. A lot of things are messy.
Yeah, because seriously, everything is in flux, and I know from like my military training, you need that routine. You're going to get up at a point. You're going to do this. You're going to do that. And yeah. But guys, on that note, we've gone a little bit over an hour. I told the mayor I'd keep him for about an hour. So I know he's sweating out there in the murder house, and we got to kind of let him out because Dan might want him back for tomorrow.
I hope so.
Mr. Mayor, thank you so much for this
My
time
pleasure.
tonight. It was a real pleasure having you on.
Oh, I love this. Was awesome. Anytime. I hopefully not too long we get to hang out and talk again because I do feel like there's 3 more hours of conversation we just didn't quite get to today.
Hey, trust me. We'll get another night because I went 3 hours with Dan. I can go 3 hours with the mayor, no problem. Because it's
There you
really
go.
cool hanging out with you. We've had a great back and forth, and just like the first one I had with the teach, I'm going to tell you the same thing. It's like hanging out with an old brother, just having a beer and talking shop. That
I
made
love
this
it.
whole hour blow by like that.
I know. That's how you know it's good. It's good for us. I love it. Thank you so
Yeah.
much for having me. This was just amazing.
Been a pleasure.
This was like, that you were like a moment for me in this whole process. Just having somebody say, "Hey, come on and talk on my show," and thinking I would have enough things to talk about it really meant a lot to me.
Like I said, it was a huge honor. I reached out to you for a huge reason. I watched you from that Fooey to that one Facebook video, and I'm like, he's got it. He's got to come on.
Appreciate it.
And guys, like I always do, next week's guest is supposed to be Holly from Whiskey and Hardtack. I know she's got some things going on. I'm going to try to confirm it with her. And normally I'll tell you what video I'm going to release tomorrow, but honestly, right now, I don't know. I've had a 48 hours that I just want to decompress for a moment. Not anything with you, Mr. Mayor.
Oh no,
we
that's
talked
cool.
about that briefly, in the pre-show.
Mm-hmm.
But, I will have something up for you tomorrow, guys. And, there we go. And Joshua, thank you. And on that note, guys, we're going to close her down. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next one. Dang it, come on. I always seem to hit the wrong key.